I want to talk about shadow work, which is it's like a thing you do for healing, for spiritual healing, emotional, traumatic healing. And if you haven't heard of shadow work, I just kind of want to break it down. Shadow, which is actually, I actually just learned this today, but it's a term that was coined by Carl Jung, however you say his last name, who is, I believe he was a therapist or philosopher. He's a big name in the therapeutic community. Shadows, when we talk about shadows, this is the part of ourselves that we deem as unacceptable, unlovable, things we rather not see for ourselves, and that we'd rather not others to see as well. There are usually things that are deep in, like, certain traumas, certain triggers, certain things that have affected us, affected our emotions negatively, and it's kind of like something that you kind of push outside of yourself, right? So that's where the start of shadow work comes in healing, because it's absolutely about accepting your shadows, accepting the dark parts of yourself, loving on those dark parts so that you can heal. And I really wanted to talk about this today because I've done a lot of shadow work myself, as well as, like, through readings, have given people insight on what they would have to do to work with their shadows. So first, let me just talk about my journey with this. I've definitely been on, I guess, this spiritual journey of digging deeper into myself for about almost 7 years. But I didn't really dig into my own healing until about 4 years ago, where I had lost a relationship that was near to me. I was losing friends. I was transitioning out of a life that, I was very much connected to, and I thought I was set for life, and this was going to be everything it was going to be for me. But it wasn't. And so exiting that, I really had a lot of devastation, a lot of depression, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of where I just felt broken. And in feeling broken, that's when I started taking my own steps to spiritually heal myself. So I did that. And I healed from these things, and I came out of that thinking like, oh, I healed myself. I'm set for life. I don't need to do nothing else. Like, I did it. Like, woo, I did this thing. And it was very much optimistic, but also very much inaccurate. Because it wasn't about until maybe 2 years ago that I was hit, like, in the face, in the mouth. Like, you thought your healing was done? You thought there wasn't nothing else for you to heal from? Like, oh, let me, you gonna feel this. So I wasn't as low as, like this breakup, this 4 years ago, whatever, but I was definitely, I felt a lot of sadness. I felt a lot of pain. I felt a lot of, I had to turn within myself and face a lot of hard truths, which, let me tell you, it don't feel good. It do not feel good. But in facing these truths is when I really realized, like, before it was external stuff. Like I was losing friends. I was out of a relationship that I was near and dear to me. But at this point, it was kind of like, forget everybody else. There are things within me, like there are, emotional triggers from my childhood. It's generational patterns that's continuing, that is showing up in my life, with my son, in my relationship. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, this look exactly like my mama, my grandma, it's a pattern there. And it was just kind of like, now you gotta start looking at your childhood. So I've definitely been on that journey. It's a lot of things that I have healed, that I am healing, that I know is going to still come. And the main thing that I learned about shadow work is that the more open you are to realizing these hard truths and to digging deep into yourself, like the higher your healing goes, the deeper your healing goes, the more tools you're able to, with shadow work, if you're just now starting it, you're realizing, damn, I got a lot of shit. Like, it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? And it's a process. And it's like when you get to the bottom of that, if you get to the bottom of it and you clear it up, it's kind of like you are equipped at a level to handle daily, monthly, weekly. I'm able to maintain and keep my energy high from where I am now. Which is what shadow is all about. Like, shadow work is all about. And so so that's kind of like my process I went through. For anyone to, I guess, address their own shadows, it takes awareness. It takes, actually looking at yourself and being aware of what's going on. And these moments to where you can be aware, it usually happens to where you're triggered, to where something is coming out at you that you feel like is unpleasant. So it's kind of like, I don't know, say you get in an argument with somebody and you're like, you never did this to me, and da-da-da-da-da, and now you crying, and they just looking at you like, why are you so emotional? And that's kind of like, if they're an asshole, they will be like trying to gaslight you and be like, what you doing? What's wrong? Why you doing this? You know what I'm saying? Or if they don't know, like some people, you don't know. A lot of people, they're not used to seeing themselves, so how can they see you? But anyway, so it's like if you're in this emotional space to where all of these emotions is coming out, that's the moment to look at yourself instead of saying, well, he did this and she did that and she did this and she did that. Like, no, what am I doing? What am I feeling? I'm being aware of what's happening in my body. You know what I'm saying? And from there, from that awareness, that next step would be like to really dig. To really dig in who you are. Okay, I'm feeling like this. Why I'm feeling like this? Where did this come from? What's the first time I remember feeling like this? What is this reminding me of? If it's anger, what's the source of this anger? If it's sadness, why am I feeling so hurt? And as you allow yourself to objectively look at these emotions and figure out where they come from, then you can be like, oh man, I forgot this happened. I forgot this was there. But now you're looking at it and you're like, oh, well, ever since this happened, I put up this defense for myself to protect my feelings. And now I've come to a moment where that's getting teared down, and now I gotta look at it again. And that's part of the healing, to look at it and love on that pain. Now this can you can do this multiple ways. You know what I'm saying? Like therapy. I love therapy. Like I've been going to therapy off and on for about like 5 years now, and it definitely helps. So you have therapy. You have, if you're spiritual, you have cleansing. Like you take cleansing baths. You can do cleansing rituals. It's so many things you can do with that on a magical level. And then it's like practically you can be writing, journaling to yourself. Or if you're not a writer, doing voice memos. Like, or looking at yourself in your camera. Like, what, this was this and this was that. And looking back on it for you to reflect. Like, there are so many things to do, and you don't have to do one thing. You just mix and match what works for you, as far as, you know what I'm saying, looking at what's there. And so once you do that, once you are paying attention, once you've been aware, once you're accepting, once you're being objective, once you're digging, it comes a point of forgiving yourself and loving on yourself. Because a lot of things that hurt us, a lot of our triggers come from our childhood. So at a certain point, it's like you're looking at your child self. When you look within, that person that's in pain is you as a child, your inner child. So now you have to change your language towards that inner child to change how they respond to it. Now you have to forgive your adult self for even refusing or trying to push your shadows away in the first place. And that is how, like, you reconcile with that. You know what I'm saying? You reconcile with, like, you put the yin and the yang together. I have my light, I have my darkness. And as I accept and address and heal in that darkness, I am able to access my light. I'm able to operate in who I am without the baggage, and who I am without the burden, and who I am without the concept of who I have to be because of what this childhood trauma said that I needed to be. And that has been an empowering. It hurts. Let me be real. It hurts. Bringing all this stuff up, addressing all these emotions is not a walk in the park. But it's so empowering. It's like you are being the alchemist of your life. And you are deciding, I'm going to take this shit and I'm going to put my magic on it. I'm going to put it deep in the soil. I'm going to water it. I'm going to love it. I'm going to put the seeds in it. And I'm going to grow my own garden out of the crap that life has given me. Instead of complaining, like just looking at the shit all day and being like, I can't believe they did this. I can't believe they dumped this shit on my yard. I can't believe this here. Look at this. And having everybody come and see the shit on your yard. Or trying to bury it, but it's still stinking. Trying to cover it up, but it still stank. We try to cover ourselves, but things come up. And if we don't address it, it'll come up in a very unhealthy way. I'm just kind of glad that I'm able to talk about this right now like openly, because it's a journey. And my birthday is on Tuesday. I'm about to be 29, and I'm just like, I've been on this journey. I've been putting the work in, you know what I'm saying? It's like when you do it and you allow yourself to open up, it's when you allow yourself to do your work, it's when you allow yourself to create yourself. You become more in love with who you are. So that's really my part about the shadow work. Unless y'all got questions or want to bring something up, you know what I'm saying, you can put it in the comments. If not, I'm open for 2-card readings. If you want a reading, you can ask a question, you know what I'm saying. It don't have to be, it can be about whatever. I have my tarot cards. Listen, when I'm talking about shadow work, tarot card, any divination really, but since I work with tarot, I'm gonna talk about tarot. Tarot cards will tell you some shit about yourself and it will not care, okay? I've done plenty of tarot readings where it's like, what the fuck are you doing? What's happening? No, don't do that. Go and reverse what you did and fix that shit. Success and love. You want to read? Okay, I'm gonna do a reading on success and love.